Hi everyone, I'm Ailu from Plants by Lulu and welcome on my channel. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and let's go. Happy New Year everyone! I hope everyone had great New Year events. I hope you are healthy and I hope you had spent quality time with family or have done something you really liked. And today I'm going to discuss the goals for 2025, if I have completed them or if I failed them, and I'm going to tell you my goals for 2026. Let's look to my goals for 2025. Now we're going on to my goals for 2025. I think one of the goals I want to continue is not buying excessive plants, but I'm going to make it more general a bit. Now I really am going to stick to the rule. If I'm not in my head, oh, I can't place it there, I know that's the best spot, I can't buy it. And the second rule on top of that is, if I want to buy another plant, which I think is fun, or like I come across which I didn't know existed or I needed, I have to swap it for another plant. I can't keep adding plants because then I get into the same problem where I have too much plants and I'm getting overwhelmed and my mental health starts to go down. And I don't want that. With that is the exception of my wish list. So these are 2 in 1. And the first one is not buying as much plants as I was buying. And I think that goal has worked out. I think over the whole year, I have not bought a lot of plants. I think the plants I bought were wishlist plants or plants that I want in the future, and the opportunity came along that I could buy them this year. So I think overall, I have not bought excess plants or really plants without thinking about it, except one, but that was a wishlist plant. That is the variegated hibiscus, and as you heard in the video, wishlist plants were exempted. So that's the first one. The second one is swap out one plant for another, and that one has not worked out really. As in, the plant that is standing here has replaced another plant which is in recovery. So in that sense, it's kind of replacing that plant, but not really, because I still own the plant, I still have it. And I have not swapped any plants for the variegated hibiscus and for the Dracaena that I got recently. So those 3 are iffy, but the other plants I bought were all replacement. On to the next one. The second one is kind of a double-sided one, and it's kind of be on top of my watering, because I also noticed when I'm not on top of watering because I kind of forget I have to water it. When I realize it, I get a surge of stress. So there needs to be kind of a checkpoint for me after 1 week. Check everything, and I just want to save myself that feeling, because it can be helped easily. Just check. But then again, the other side of that coin is that if I forget, be kind to myself. So yes, I need to have more consistency, but also I need to be kind to myself if I forget it. So it's often the most smaller, most cheaper plants I tend to forget. And you know, when I forget one and it died because of that, I just replaced it for another cheap plant. And so far, I think it happened with 3 last year. So that's not as much as I was used to. So in that sense, that's all great. The reason why I left was because I have overwatered, I think, 3 or 4 of my plants this year due to being on a specific routine. And I noticed in the summer that my plants needed a lot more water. So I struggled to feel how much that was. It was also in a period where I was in my not liking plants era. So I kind of had to figure that out. And then it was almost at the end of summer where I was in a good, like, consistent routine where they started to thrive again. And then I continued that into autumn. And so then 3-4 plants rotted away. So those are in rehab. And I am wondering if they're going to make it. But yeah, I think overall I have been more on top of watering this year, and I have been more lenient towards myself regarding plants that are dying or have died. Next point. The last one, try to keep finding new fun things within the plant realm. And this is a very general thing. I'm noticing that I do not have as much time for my plants as I used to. But I'm also noticing that when I tend to my plants and when I do some plant care, I am so happy. So I think I need to find the balance, because when I started to have new interests, I felt kind of guilty towards my plants. And I think I have to find a balance where, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel any kind of negative emotions surrounding the fact that I have new hobbies. But I also don't kind of get so much into my new hobbies that I neglect them. So I think this is kind of foreshadowing how my year was going to go regarding loving plants or regarding my not liking plant phase. I think I can say for sure that this was one of the hardest years for me in my plant journey, liking plants, making content, and having to find the balance. Most of you, if you watch me more frequently, know I took a pause this year, and I think it is easy for me to fall into that spiral downwards. I will talk a bit about that in my New Year's resolutions. But I think overall this year I have done a good job with that. I have found the balance back. I have found my love for plants back. And I have given myself the time to figure everything out. Considering everything, I did a pretty good job with that. Also with the hobbies, I know I have not fallen so much into my hobbies that I neglected my plants. So that's not something to worry about. And I have picked up some new hobbies where I think I have mentioned that I like making miniature things and plants. I have now broadened my horizon with miniature kits, where you don't really make the stuff, you just compose everything. You've gotten already all the materials. You're not making things from scratch, which is a little bit less overwhelming than just making everything from scratch. But I think that is a great balance. I've started reading again. I picked up reading last year, and although I have not read a lot, I have started, and that's the first step of, beginning something again. I am so excited to start reading more next year. But that was the last one. Let's go to my New Year's resolutions for next year. The first thing which I touched upon briefly is that I have noticed a bit that I have slipped back into the downward spiral. Nothing to be concerned about. It's just that the reason why I started this channel was, one, to share my love for plants, and two, practice my editing. However, I noticed that I just have a hard time with technology, and then mainly the faults of technology. And I think I have to work on managing my expectations around that, managing losses, managing stressful situations surrounding the technical aspect, and just accept that sometimes it's not going to be perfect, or it's not going to be the way that I anticipated it. For example, my editing process is a little bit more than twice as much as the footage is. So if the footage is half an hour, it will take me 1 hour and 50 minutes. If the footage is 1.5 hours, it will take me 3.5 hours. And that is not including the finalization of the uploading of the video. It's just editing and doing small adjustments and making sure everything looks good. This time it was supposed to be 2.5 hours editing work. It turned out, because of problems with the editing software, to be like a process of 7 hours. Because I did not expect it, it was a harder hit to my mental health than I could have anticipated. And I was so frustrated and devastated and mad and sad at the same time, and I couldn't meet the deadline. I don't know if you even noticed, but it was, I think, a few weeks ago where the video did not upload on Saturday, but it uploaded on Sunday. And the week prior to that, I also had problems with the editing software. So that one was uploaded a few hours later, but still on Saturday. Short story long, I have to put things in perspective for myself and see what is worth the stress and what isn't. Because sometimes a surge of healthy stress is okay. It's not that I don't want any stress in my life. It's just that the way I am going, it is not healthy, and I have to take a step back and see for myself that it is not worth in that situation. So that's the story. That's point one. The second thing is, I think at the moment I start again to fall out of love with some plants. But I think, if I'm totally honest, that it's because they're not standing in the right spot. I think if I place them somewhere else, I might fall in love with them again. The place where they're standing now, it's just not working. And I think, just for myself, to give me more peace, I have to let go of constantly wanting to have a perfect picture. It's not to keep up appearances, it's just because I have to constantly look at it. So I want it to be constantly the perfect version, which is not possible with plants. So, I'm going to rearrange some stuff in due time. However, I also think I just need to relax a bit with that. So I think that's the second one. And the third one is, I want to kind of do more with this channel, and I'm still not sure what. Because I really want to incorporate my crafts. I want to incorporate my books in some way, and I've already did that. I've noticed that there is a bunch of people that continuously watching those videos, which I'm very grateful for, and that also makes me want to keep making more of that stuff. Even though it's a select group, it's a few people, I still love to make stuff like that. And even if it's just 5 people, I still want to make it. But I'm also thinking about making a new channel to post more of those things, like more crafty stuff, book stuff. I want to have a channel where you get a different topic every week, which this channel is only about plants. And it is kind of weird, I think, to direct people to other things on this channel which they aren't really subscribed to. So that's why I'm thinking about making a new channel, different channel for this. But let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. I am not sure yet. I also, sometimes I'm just thinking I'm going to do it on this channel because why not? It's my channel. But other times I'm thinking, is it better to start fresh? That's the last goal of mine, is to figure that situation out, figure out how I'm going to do this. And I think that is it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you have any comment or remarks, or like have your opinion, leave that down in the comments below. If you have your goals, leave them also down in the comments below. I'm very curious. And I will see you in the next video. Doei!